Hi everyone, today's goal is to solve equations and inequalities with absolute values. Remember, absolute value is equal to 5, so a can be equal to both 5 or negative 5. The absolute value of a equals negative 7 has no solution, because remember, absolute value measures distance, and distance is always a positive number. What are the solutions of the absolute value of t minus 7 is equal to 8? In order to solve this, we have to remember that t can be equal to both 8 or negative 8, since we're taking the absolute value. Notice one of those keywords here again, or. You're going to solve this by writing out two separate equations, add 7 to both sides, and our answer would be t is equal to 15 or t is equal to negative 1. Both answers are correct. Both answers must be included. When you have a more complex inequality equation, absolute value equation, we need to isolate the absolute value. In order to do that in this example, we're going to add 10 to both sides. We get the absolute value of 2x is equal to 50, which means the absolute value of 2x, or 2x can equal 50, or 2x can equal negative 50. Solve each side for x. We get x is equal to 25, or x is equal to negative 25. Either one of these answers, and actually both of them, will satisfy the original equation. What are the solutions of the absolute value of 5p plus 25 equals 15? I'm going to start out by trying to isolate the absolute value. Subtract 25 from each side, and we end up with the absolute value of 5p is equal to negative 10. If you remember, that's not possible. Absolute value must equal a positive number. So in this instance, there is no solution for the equation. Here's another example. Absolute value of y plus 17 minus 25 is equal to negative 10. We're going to start out by adding 25 to each side, and we end up with the absolute value of y plus 17 is equal to 15. We're going to set up two separate equations. Y plus 17 is equal to 15, or y plus 17 is equal to negative 15. Subtract 17 from both sides, and our answers become y is equal to negative 2, or y is equal to negative 32. Both these answers, when plugged into the original equation, will make it a true statement. Inequalities are a little more tricky. The inequality of the absolute value of a is less than 5 is the same as a is less than 5 and a is greater than negative 5. So we have an and here. We repeat the inequality, but we flip the sign and change the number to a negative. An inequality, the absolute value of a is greater than 5 is the same as saying a is greater than 5, or a is less than negative 5. So again, we're flipping the sign, reversing the inequality, but look at the difference in the wording. We have an and we have an or. What are the solutions of the absolute value of 2n minus 3 is greater than or equal to 9? Graph the solutions. Well, we're going to set up two separate inequalities. 2n minus 3 is greater than or equal to 9, or 2n minus 3 is less than or equal to negative 9. We're going to solve both of them by adding 3 to each side and divide each side by 2. Our answers end up being n is greater than or equal to 6, or n is less than or equal to negative 3. Because the word or is here, when we shade our graph, it's going to go in opposite directions. We have greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, so our endpoints are closed circles, and we're going to shade outward. You always want to double check just to make sure. So you can take a number like negative 10, plug it in here. 2 times negative 10 minus 3 is negative 23. The absolute value of negative 23 is 23, so it is greater than or equal to 9. On this side, we can take 8. 2 times 8 is 16 minus 3 is 13. Absolute value of 13 is 13. And 13 is in fact greater than or equal to 9. Here's one I want you guys to try on your own. It's an equation, not an inequality. So please write it down on a separate piece of paper, put your name on it, and be ready to turn it in tomorrow, okay? Give it a shot. I want you to solve it, and I want you to graph the solution.